Michael Sean, excited to be back with you. This is the first video of 2022, and we're going to have many more to come. But if you're like most people, then you have probably or are planning on setting yourself some New Year's resolutions or some New Year's goals. So I want to walk you guys through how to be successful, because the vast majority of people, so statistically, only 9% of people that set a New Year's resolution or New Year's goal are actually still working on it or towards it after 6 months. So there's some common reasons that people fail, and there's a really simple method of goal setting called the SMART method. And I want to walk you through both of those, because the common reasons that people fail are preventable, and they are things that if you plan properly using the SMART method, then you can set yourself up for success and you'll be cruising along when that 6-month mark hits. So reasons people fail. The number one reason that people fail is they set unrealistic goals. Now, there's nothing wrong with setting big goals. That's not the point here. The point is that it has to be realistic to you. Now, what other people may be able to accomplish in the next year is irrelevant, because you're talking about your goals. So set realistic goals. 33% of people who failed did not keep track of their progress. That probably means that they did not have a goal that was measurable, or they chose not to, or were too busy, or didn't plan, whatever the case may be, to actually write it down and see how they were going. And they got to their goal date and realized, oh, I didn't accomplish it. 23%, this one made me laugh, 23% of people forgot about their resolutions. They just completely forgot about it. They were so into it that it just completely slipped their mind. And then lastly, about 1 in 10 people who failed said they made too many resolutions. So as you can see, all of those are pretty common reasons that you could fail. And that's why I want to cover the SMART method, because the SMART method gives you the tools and gives you kind of the framework of how to set a goal so that you can be successful and you can actually see it through to fruition. So SMART is an acronym for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. And I'm going to jump into each one of those in just a little bit of detail so you guys can understand. As I'm setting goals for this next 12 months, because we're talking about the next year here, so these are goals that I want to have accomplished by the end of 2022. So first off, make your goals specific. This is where you get really detailed about what you want to accomplish. So it doesn't mean things like I'm going to eat better, I'm going to exercise more, I'm going to read more books in 2022. No, it's like I'm going to eat better. That's an action. So what is that action moving you towards? Are you trying to lose weight? Are you trying to lower your cholesterol? Are you trying to get in shape for some specific event? That would be a specific goal. So you want your goal to be specific. So think about the end result of where you're trying to go, and think about the why you're trying to get there. Those will help you get specific with your goals. And then next, make sure it's measurable. Again, people completely forgot their goal in some cases. So if you have a measurable goal, then you should be able to track your progress every step of the way. If you have a 6-month goal, then you have an end date, and you can therefore backtrack it to be able to measure each step of the way. So say you have weekly or monthly goals that are leading you towards that 6 or 12-month goal. And that is what's going to make it measurable. You have to have a goal that you can actually track and measure. Otherwise, you're going to be spinning your wheels and you'll have no idea where you are. And that will ultimately lead to you probably just forgetting about it. Attainable. Make sure it is attainable for you. Now, you're focusing on goals for yourself. It doesn't matter what anybody else in the world, what anybody else in your family, what anybody else in your business, whatever it is, it's not about them. It's not about what they can accomplish. It's about you. These are your goals. So if your goal has made it past the first two, it's specific and it's measurable, make sure it's attainable. And this simply means that make sure it's something that you can accomplish in your season or your stage of life. And this is a great opportunity, because inevitably, if you're looking ahead at your goal and you determine that it is attainable, there's going to be some roadblocks, and having the ability to see as many roadblocks as you can before you get to them is going to give you the ability to more easily deal with them when they do come. So I could do a whole video just on that, but that's just kind of a side note, a little caveat, that as you're thinking about attainability of these goals, you will probably come up with a lot of reasons that you can't do it, or things that will slow you down and hinder you. Now, if they are real legitimate reasons that you can't do them and it's completely impossible, then that right there tells you that that's not a goal that you need to be working towards. And then relevant. Is it relevant to the direction that you're heading in life? And secondarily, does it compete with other goals you might have set? Because one of the reasons that people fail, if you remember, was they set too many goals. So having big goals, again, is not the problem. Having too many goals and having goals that are competing against each other is going to cause you to spin your wheels, and ultimately that's going to burn you out and you're not going to reach any of your goals. So having a relevant goal to where you're at in life that is relevant to what you're actually trying to accomplish in the big picture, that will help you immensely. And then time-based. Now this is where everything kind of comes together, because if it's measurable and it's attainable and it's relevant, then it has to be time-based. So at a minimum, you want an end date that you're going to complete the goal by. So in this case, if it's a very long-range goal, your absolute deadline for this year's goal is December 31st of 2022. If that is your goal and you're setting the deadline as the last day of this year, then you need to break that goal down into smaller goals. And it needs to be time-based and measurable in the sense that, okay, at the end of every 2 weeks or every month, I will have accomplished this towards that goal. And you can break that one big goal into 6, 12, 24 little goals, and then that gives you specific time increments and specific measurable activities that you have to accomplish each step of the way. And I call those benchmarks. So you have benchmarks of, okay, I'm moving towards this benchmark right now. So this benchmark gets me, 5% closer to my ultimate goal. But it serves as a check to let me know that I'm on the right track and that I either need to speed up or slow down because I'm not reaching my goal fast enough and the end of the year is going to come and I'm not going to get there, or I'm cruising right along and I can actually pull back on the throttle a little bit. So in any case, having all of these together and making it time-based will give you ultimately the ability to know exactly where you stand and in terms of completing your final goal. So that is all I got today, guys. I hope that's helpful. Again, New Year's is a big time. I hope you guys had a blast. And maybe you didn't come into the new year with any momentum, but this is a perfect time to buckle down, to get focused, and to use the SMART method to help yourself build that momentum going into 2022. Because it's a new year, it can be a new you, and you're capable of accomplishing anything you set your mind to. But make sure it's relevant, make sure it's attainable, make sure it's measurable, make sure it's specific, and ultimately time-based as well. So you guys are awesome. You're capable of achieving anything you set your mind to, but make sure those goals are SMART. Make sure they're specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. You run each goal you set through those 5 parameters, and you will have a much, much higher chance of success. Anyway, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Come back next week for more. Looking forward to getting into the next year here with you.